Hi guys, these are my goldfish. They're brand shoes. Their names are Masala and Tandoori. And I ordered them about a month and a half ago. And they came in from not a way super high quality shop. So they're probably imported from China. They came in sick. So I had this nice cycled system set up for them, and then they came in with parasites. So I had to mend balm them, and that killed the cycle. That killed the nitrogen cycle. So the bacteria that convert ammonia into nitrates. And then the filter wasn't cycled anymore, and so I've been having to do daily water changes. So to cycle something more quickly, you have to raise the ammonia to a really high level. But that's toxic to the fish, so it's best to do a fish out cycle with no fish in it. So I obviously couldn't do that in this tank because these are my little baby nuggets. They're my whole world. I love them to bits. I don't want anything to happen to them. They're just like my little friends. I call them my emotional support fish. And I think there's a lot of cheers to that. It really increased my mood and reduced anxiety. So anyways, I have to do a fish in cycle in this tank, which involves a lot of water changes and a lot of CCAM prime. And I am actually moving to Edinburgh in a few weeks, so they're still in their quarantine tank. And so I've been cycling the filters in this little bucket here. And this is their transport system down to Edinburgh. It's got a battery-operated sponge filter, and this is how I'm going to move them down. So I woke up this morning, and this filter, which I got secondhand, which I have been cycling for weeks for them, broke, and I can't fix it. I don't know how. I've tried. I mean, I've fixed tons of filters before, but you take the impeller off, you plug it in, it's just dead. It's not spinning. I can't get it started again, and the way this is set up, there's no way to pop it off and actually really, really get at the motor and try to see if I can fix it that way. So, that aside, I don't really have a well-cycled filter anymore. So I've been thinking about what to do, because I've got to go and find a flat in Edinburgh. I've got to find a flat that will let me have a 260 litre fish tank. But with the fish in cycle, you're doing daily water changes, you're treating the water with something to reduce the ammonia, and I got up this morning and my filter was broken, my cycle filter. So what I think I'm going to do is actually run a new fish-free cycle in here. So I've already got one sponge filter cycling. That filter is bust. I've taken the media from inside this filter. You can see this is a pretty basic sponge filter. And I put the filter that I was cycling in here. So hopefully that'll provide a little additional supplemental bacteria to the system. And I've also got some stability. So one thing I learned a long time ago is when you have a lot of aquariums, it's really best to just have filters everywhere. Sponge filters, just put them in places, cycle them. That way, if you ever run into a situation like I did, you're not out of luck. So I actually have another sponge filter already in here that's been cycling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that sponge filter and I'm going to put it in the system that has the ammonia at the 4 it's 4 ppm, which is what you're supposed to dose it to. I've got my ammonia and distilled water. And so I'm going to try to take the second sponge filter and put it in here, and that way, so you can't see it, but I've got another QT tank running. And so then I can take both filters and put them into the QT tanks and go find a flat. So what I do have is a lot of tubing and a couple of check valves. So what we're gonna do is take out my sweet potato. It's this weird trend to put sweet potatoes in your tanks. They're supposed to reduce ammonia and nitrates and nitrites. So we'll see what the sweet potato does. I'm not sure yet. Pull off the hood. And then we're just going to take out this filter. Come on. Come on. Alright. So we've got the air tubing. I'm just going to cut the tubing. Put in a check valve. The check valve is meant to keep your filter, if your air pump ever runs out, the check valve is meant to stop water from running back into your air pump, which is why it's always good to run all your sponge filters with check valves. So then we take out this one. Attach it here. The pipe running again. And then just keep a close eye on this tank throughout the day, because put my potato back in. So this one single sponge filter, it's not actually that much, it's not a lot of filtration for goldies. Goldies really people say they're dirty fish. I don't think they're actually dirty. They have a slime coat that they secrete. And they also poop a lot and they eat a lot, and that really ups your nitrates. That said, they're not really dirty fish. You just have to be extra careful to make sure their nitrates don't get too high. I like to keep mine below 20 ppm. That's not always possible. But I think that anything above 40 is danger zone and you're reaching toxic levels. It's not like ammonia poisoning or nitrite poisoning. It's more like a long-term toxicity that leads to health issues in the long run. So now we've got 2 sponge filters running in the bucket, and dose the ammonia up a bit. And we'll see. But yeah, I was really looking forward to buying this Etude House Sunjung pH 5.5 toner. But instead I am buying a new filter. And hopefully the media will last until Thursday. I don't want to get one at the shop because it was £26. So I just kind of was I'll order it off Amazon. So I'm going to dose with a little stability. And you actually can't really overdose with stability, so there we go. A little bit in the tank. No, you can't eat it. And yeah, it's really not nice to wake up to a broken filter.